Get the bounce, and he is called for the foul. His first, 11:35 to play in the first half. Connecticut up 17-12.
Greg Gumbel in New York. We'll keep track of that game, but it is game time in Charlotte, where Jim Nantz and Billy Packer are set to call Oakland and North Carolina. It's also game time in Oklahoma City, where St. Mary's is set to take on Southern Illinois. Craig Bolerjack and Bob Wenzel are there. Enjoy the tournament action, everyone, here on CBS.
Our road to the Final Four continues with the North Carolina Tar Heels, in many minds the pre-tournament favorite and the #1 seed in the Syracuse bracket, taking on the 16 seed, the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, with the winner taking on Iowa State here Sunday afternoon. Carolina, Roy Williams, second year, a 10th #1 seed, most for any school in NCAA history, while the Golden Grizzlies, they already won in the opening round game Tuesday night in Dayton, ending Alabama A&M season. There's Coach Greg Kampe, remarkably the head coach of this program for 21 years. They've only been Division I the last 7 seasons. Their star players, Courtney Scott, you see him, number 52, a senior, and Raul Marshall, #1, another senior who averages 20 a game. And Roy Williams, 4 times he took Kansas to the Final Four, and trying to get North Carolina there in only his second year back at his alma mater. And Rashad McCants is back in the starting lineup. Billy Packer.
He is back in the lineup. This team, because they have so many pieces, really didn't miss him. Jim, I only think there's one part of this puzzle for North Carolina that can't be replaced, and that's Raymond Felton. He is the point guard that makes it all go.
You look at North Carolina's championship history. Look back first to 1957, led by Hall of Fame coach Frank McGuire.
Undefeated North Carolina that won 2 triple overtime games in the Final Four.
Then in '82, the Jordan jumper, the freshman, and James Worthy leading them to a title, Dean's first. And then in '93, the infamous timeout call by Chris Webber as the Tar Heels win again down in New Orleans. And many think there could be another championship this season coming their way in St. Louis. We will see. They will get things started with their first round game against Oakland, a team with a losing record, 13-18, but shocked everyone in their conference tournament, the Mid-Continent Conference, beating Oral Roberts in the conference championship to advance to the NCAA.
Jim, they're 0-82, the 16s. Have there ever been 2 of them playing the same floor? And someday, some pair of announcers are going to be sitting there for that game. Will this be the day we've got 2 chances?
Are you suggesting we're on the edge of history? Got Delaware State and Duke later tonight.
Someday, somebody will announce such a game.
Manuel in North Carolina now with first possession.
Good aggressive zone right here.
Jawad Williams, that one rattles out, and it still belongs to North Carolina. You talked to Coach Kampe of Oakland, and he told us, he said, my kids now, they believe they're going to win. And they actually do believe it.
He also told us something else. We will score 50 points. And so,
how about those first 2?
Well, that's where you go over the top of the zone in more ways than one.
Jawad Williams with the slam.
North Carolina moving their feet defensively much better than they did to open the ACC tournament, where Clemson actually had them.
Marshall stuck in the corner with 10 on the shot clock. Fade away, Marshall. And tipped over to Felton.
Oh, good steal by Ishmael.
Ishmael will wait for this team.
Showed some real quickness. So not many men take the ball away from Felton when he's in the open court.
McCloskey gets it back outside. And a foul called as Courtney Scott looked like he was going up with a shot. Jawad Williams with the foul. You know, one thing about Oakland, they come out again of that Mid-Continent Conference. They were 7-9 in the regular season. But that is a conference that has produced a team, look back to 1998, that shocked the NCAAs with Valparaiso. They started the year 0-7, but What a brutal schedule to begin the season. They had games at Xavier, at Illinois, took on Marquette at home, at Texas A&M, at Missouri, at Kansas State, at St. Louis.
And we're 0-7.
And 0-7.
But, you know, a lot of teams in this country start off that way and would have been 0-7 as well, with much bigger reputations than Oakland.
Even later in the year, took on Michigan State.
This zone is moving well, taking up a lot of space.
Kantz fakes the three, sets up Felton, and he bangs it home.
The big difference in this young man is he has gone from a 30% three-point shooter to a 44% three-point shooter. That is huge.
How has he done it, Billy?
Hard work. He really hasn't changed his technique. Good steal.
Felton back to May. And Ishmael reaches in. You know, Oakland, you may not know a lot about them, folks, but they're out of Rochester, Michigan, and they have a student body of over 16,000 strong. They're located about 5 minutes away from the old Silverdome where the Lions used to play, and from the Palace at Auburn Hills, north of Detroit.
And moved into Division I 8 years ago. So they went from Division II to Division I. Isn't it amazing? Coach Campy has been there throughout this transition, has settled in as, at one time, even the athletic director, and now has a team in the NCAA tournament.
I think he took them back in their Division II days to 4 Division II tournaments. Last in 1997 before they went Division I. They still retained possession. They reached actually a regional final and lost to Northern Kentucky the last time they were in an NCAA tournament. It was Division II, and here they are in the NCAAs, already with a win over Alabama A&M up in Dayton on Tuesday.
Well, here we have clock down to 25, and the ball has not gotten over the foul line yet, but the foul line in the wrong direction. And North Carolina's not taking that pressure off. Looking, here comes McCants and Manuel. Good job. I like this strategy by Roy Williams, pressuring even the smaller team to make sure his guys are moving their feet defensively.
Marshall, who can create. That ball with the quick hand, stolen away by Felton, tipped it and came down with it.
Oh, nice turn.
And one for May.
Yeah, we're just seeing superior athletes right here. McCluskey didn't have a chance to even realize May was catching the ball, and watch him spin. You're talking about one of the best players in college basketball right here. May, who has been on fire the last month of the season, can rank with anybody in that paint.
He'll attempt the free throw for the three-point play out of a timeout. Greg Campy calls the timeout. Heels hot at the start.
I can't believe Carrie dumped me last night.
Really? You know, a good woman is like a McGriddles.
Okay.
She's sweet on the outside.
On a 2005 SSR. Residency restrictions apply. See your local Chevy dealer for details.
Coach Greg Campy of Oakland getting an early idea of just what kind of talent he's going against today with North Carolina. The #1 seed in the Syracuse bracket, going against the only team in the history of the NCAAs to have competed and never lost a tournament game.
Let the guy at home sitting on his rocking chair figure that one out.
What did Nancy say? They are 1-0 after their official win against Alabama A&M on Monday.
Well, let's stay with this game a little bit longer. You know, a team sometimes can go ahead and make the adjustment playing against far superior players and then get back in it.
McCloskey gets their first field goal.
Coach Campy said, we will get 50 points. On that basis, Jim, he better hope that he's holding North Carolina for 40 the rest of this game.
Now, Emmanuel
not going to take the outside jumper.
Skips it over, other side. And that's McCants with the three.
And that is what McCants brings to this team. He can just explode from the three-point line. Did that even coming back after 4 games that he had to sit out in the Atlantic Coast Conference Tournament. When he got back in that lineup, it just gives them some more firepower.
Double up, lead
What
stop,
happened there?
wide open.
Freshman mistake by Williams. Didn't stay back to help out.
Courtney Scott, who started his college career at Iowa, gets the dunk on the heels, and Felton gets another 3 at the other end.
And if you're Coach Cappy, right now you got to say this game is being played at a tempo that I don't like. But North Carolina and Roy Williams are making this tempo a lot faster by picking up full court.
North Carolina has hit its first 3 threes of the game. It's Scott.
Nice double down.
He's in trouble and tipped away. Jawad Williams over to Felton. Can't get the handle.
Oh, look at that.
Scoops it to Manuel and 1.
Terrific hustle by Williams and Felton. Manuel not giving up on the play as well. Jim, there's where you got to give a kid who's a senior a lot of credit. Manuel, you know, you would figure, hey, those other guys are going to complete that play. Why hustle? He kept right on working, made the play. Nice
They
job.
are showered with appreciation for that hustle play.
Have a coat. You gotta face something. Daddy hung on your gun. You know what that is? That's the roof time, son. Legend.
Jim, look at those eyes of Marvin Williams. Great save on his part. Oh, great save on Felton's part. And then the hustle ultimate by Manuel, and he puts it in. Everybody focused on North Carolina in this ballgame.
All 5 starters have scored, and yes, that was Marvin Williams who instigated that, not Jawad. And Manuel unable to complete the 3-point play, but it is 18-5 Tar Heels.
Scott stepping outside. There's a switch.
Oh, nice shot. Casasi, Brandon Casasi, freshman coming in. Knock it down to 3.
Now, what will be the situation for North Carolina in this game is, will they keep their focus defensively? There's a screen from behind. McCants goes just up so high. Set play by North Carolina probably won't work against a team with more athleticism. Pass was dictated from too far out.
Scott kicks it back out. Ishmael,
Nice.
He hits a 3. Beauty.
Felton gave up a little bit of space there.
Senior from Detroit, DeMarcus Ishmael. Down low again. And the Golden Grizzlies come out with it.
And here's what happens sometimes. Things seem so easy. You're up 20-9, and all of a sudden you start saying, well, it's easy. We're going to just throw the ball around. And a team that's won a championship does not want to throw in a towel early in this ball game.
Jawad comes back in along with David Noel for the Tar Heels. CBS Sports Line keeps you on top of all the men's NCAA tournament action. Get real-time bracket updates, expert picks for each and every first-round game. It's all at CBSSportsLine.com.
And, Jim, we ought to point out that Oakland got in the NCAA tournament with a thrilling upset over Oral Roberts, you know, to earn their way here. Nobody voted this club in.
Oral Roberts had won the regular season Mid-Continent Conference title. Melvin Scott also in now for the Tar Heels, number 1.
Scott and Noel, 2 guys with a lot of experience. Wow, what a shot. Had to beat the shot clock. Good block out.
Casasi underneath Marshall. Puts it back up and in.
Good block out by Marshall.
Just like that, the Grizzlies trim it to 7. Little 8-2 run for Oakland.
Scott's got to look to take that shot early on and then just crash the boards with the bigger players.
Turnaround Williams. That's a shot Duke would have liked to have seen him miss in their regular season finale. It was about the same shot that he made with a putback and a foul that won it.
McCluskey had pretty good inside position down low. Marshall couldn't get it to him.
Marshall.
Tough shot.
Fade away, and Marvin Williams over to McCants. Inside Marvin, and he's heading to the line.
Marvin Williams is a terrific finisher, extremely strong. He's got a great set of legs on him, can catch the ball in traffic. And here you see him finishing. McCluskey on him, can't quite get there in time.
For McCluskey, that's his second. And he is coming out. David Carson into the lineup for Oakland, number 24.
And you find Williams, who is the ACC's Rookie of the Year. 5 times the young man won Rookie of the Week. Certainly an outstanding prospect.
Quentin Thomas now defending the ball here for the Tar Heels. Number 11, freshman from Oakland, California.
And he's been sitting on that bench, so he's seen that Ishmael doesn't mind putting up a shot, so he's going to have to stay out there with him.
Casasi from the baseline. And it's Noel. Out to Thomas. Marvin Williams, and he was the top freshman rebounder, top freshman scorer in the ACC this year. Average double figures off the bench for the Tar Heels. The first non-starter to have double figs at North Carolina since Jerry Stackhouse. Scott, baseline jumper. And over the back, called on Carson.
Thomas, good size in there. Nice block out on his part.
Got a break in the action here. North Carolina, 82% from the field at the beginning.
To protect you.
The Late Show's throwing stuff off the roof tonight.
We have a great team at CBS News. They're the ones who can tell us what we need to know because they've been there.
The CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer.
We have not lost a Sweet 16 seed in this tournament. The 2 closest games for top 4 seeds would be Florida's 5-point win today over Ohio and Kentucky's 8-point win yesterday against Eastern Kentucky.
Are you trying to tell me something about the SEC with Alabama already being knocked out?
And LSU.
Yep.
It has been a struggle for that conference in the first round. Thomas.
Nice pass.
Another nice one. Williams lays it in. Thomas to May to Jawad for 2.
Jim, not only nice passes, but how about the catch by May? He makes the catch in traffic that's tough. That ball coming up off the floor, and then makes another immediate pass for good. That's 10 baskets for North Carolina off 10 assists. Not bad basketball.
And as you've pointed out many times before, May has a great pair of hands. Super mitts. Going in there, he's going to grab.
Nice.
Beautiful move. Carson.
Yep, nice
shot. Jawad wins. He gets into the 3-point act.
Coach Campy's head went down on that shot because he looks at this team and says, you know, do they have any players that can't play? I mean, they just have really executed well. They're playing, they being North Carolina, playing with a lot of intensity here, which is the sign of a club that feels they can go a long way in this tournament and wants to prove it.
You know, we're talking about number 1 seeds. 85% of the time since this whole 64-team seeding process began back in 1985, 85% get through the first 2 rounds. Of course, this 14%, don't be deceived by that. The best that percentage could be would be 25%.
As an example, we did have, and Roy Williams was there, 3 number 1s get to a Final Four. Roy there with his Kansas team, Kentucky, North Carolina.
Almost taken away by Felton.
Nice pass.
What a no-look pass, Ishmael. Beauty.
Ishmael having a very good start of this ball game. Made a good steal on Felton in the open court. Knocked down a jump shot, and there's a good assist.
Carolina with another 3. They're 12 out of 14 from the floor and 5 for 5 from 3. Timeout, Oakland.
Now, Coach Campy wondering, can I stay in the zone against this team? He almost has to.
Carolina up 16.
Chevy, an American Revolution.
Tonight on The Late Show, don't miss Audience Show and Tell, plus Charlie Sheen, and Dave's going to be throwing stuff off the roof, from what I understand. That's all tonight here on The Late Show on CBS.
Unfortunately for David Letterman, They intercepted that man that had ill thoughts about his family, which is really nice to hear that they did intercept it.
They were able to foil a plan of house painter at a home he has out in Montana with kidnapping on his mind. All right, Casasi and Oakland over to Marshall with 10 on the shot clock.
Nice move.
Taken away by Noel.
Oh, good assist off McCann's head.
Whips it inside, and Carson with the reach around foul.
And there were those hands again, Jim. It's amazing. Anything that gets close to May. Wayne Simeon's another one that plays in the inside. There's the hit. Assist right off the head. And it's not a violation because he never was in control of that ball. There's McCants, a different kind of player now. He would have taken that jump shot a year ago.
Of course, McCants in February missed 4 games because of illness. Came back for the ACC tournament, back into the starting lineup today. Williams.
Not hesitating at all as Williams.
Freshman from Washington. And they have now jumped the number up to 19.
Good job by Ishmael again.
Another beautiful assist. And it's Carson with another hoop off the bench.
In every phase of the game, here we have the big man running the floor. Great pass by Felton. Courtney Scott saying, I haven't seen a big man run by me that quickly before. It's a whole different league we're talking about here.
You think about what Oakland has done just to get to this game today. We'll remind you, Singular at the half, Greg Clark and Seth. You get live updates coming up on Singular at the half. This is a team that went into their conference tournament, Billy, with a record of 9-18. You could imagine the shock it must be for them to be finding themselves on a floor with North Carolina when it's likely they're going to be knocked out in the first round of the conference tournament. They put together 3 wins. Then they beat Alabama A&M in the opening round game on Tuesday. Carson again, too strong. A great rally at the end of the season. Marvin Williams, not this time, but Jawad Williams.
Oh, look at that rebound. 2-hand snatch. Jim, going back, this club played at Illinois. They lost 54-85. So they have seen outstanding teams. We talked about that murderous schedule.
Also played at Michigan State, not that far away from their campus in Rochester. An hour away as Ishmael back of the rim. They lost by 17 to the Spartans on the road. Marvin Williams.
Oh, we're looking at a different class right here, and it's a shame. These kids really did something to get to this tournament, but they're looking at a different brand of player here. Wow.
Carolina soaring in front. Marvin Williams with 10, 42-19.
Insurance, loans, retirement. AIG. We know money.
Oakland trying to figure out how to stop the onslaught. They've already used 3 of their timeouts, only 2 the rest of the game.
Now here's what Roy Williams has to start working on, Jim, and that is to keep this intensity going for his team. Now he's got a deep team. He's got 12, 13 guys he can put in this game, and I bet you he's going to start rotating a lot.
Marshall off the glass. Good rebound. McCloskey, who's back in with the 2 fouls, will go to the free throw line. McCloskey going to the line, but it's Carolina dunking on him to this point.
Now watch that, watch that, watch that. I got him, I see him. Whoa! Give me the ball, Pops. Come get it. I think that's a challenge. Are you serious? I won't even put my bag down. Oh, come on, man. Don't let that man screw you. You got nothing. You don't got nothing. Your mouth was dry. Have a coke. You know what that is? That's the room time, son. Legend. Get on the ball. Get on the ball. Get on the ball.
That time of year again.
Big deals for the big dance. The GM NCAA March Madness event. Score big with specially marked deals. The price you see is the price you pay.
There's a place for us. Somewhere, a place for us. Peace and quiet.
For those in the academic, medical, and cultural fields whose work serves the greater good, we serve you. TIAA CREF, Financial Services for the greater good.
Mr. Peanut firmly believes in symbolism. The top hat symbolizes fresh taste. The monocle symbolizes fresh taste. The cane symbolizes fresh taste. The gloves symbolize nothing. He just has a thing for gloves. But the shoes symbolize fresh taste. Planters. Famously fresh taste.
Enjoy the countdown to the Final Four with CBS Sports and Coca-Cola.
Jim Nantz with Billy Packer in Charlotte with the Tar Heels, the top seed out of the Syracuse bracket, shooting 80%.
Well, Jim, in almost every basket that they've made has come directly from an assist. So they're not only shooting well, they're distributing the ball well, and I think Roy Williams' strategy to have his team go out and press full quarter, three-quarter, and really work hard on the perimeter has been very effective.
Here's McCloskey to shoot two. He's a freshman from Marshall, Michigan. He was recruited by some Big Ten schools in football as a tight end, but wanted to play hoops for Coach Campy there in Rochester, Michigan. Gets the second to go.
I was very impressed in his play against Alabama A&M. He's a young man with a lot of potential, just a freshman. And the zone is moving extremely well. The problem is that North Carolina is passing over the top of it with his superior height. There's an example.
May turn around.
They're just playing right over the top of the zone. I mean, you cannot ask as a coach for your players to move their feet and be in position any better than Oakland was on that possession. The problem, North Carolina, just superior height and athleticism going right over the top of it.
There's Greg Campy, who played his college ball at Bowling Green. Actually was a football player, cornerback on that team, and was on the basketball team. Didn't see all that much action. His father was a football player at Michigan back in 1947 when the Wolverines won the Rose Bowl, won the national championship. His father was the starting lineman.
And he's the only man in MAC history to make All-American academic in 2 sports. So young guy had his head on straight in school as well as now. And Ishmael, who has been the one guy out here who, with his quickness, has had a pretty good first half.
Marshall off the mark with that. Felton sees a player up ahead. It's Manuel. And a reach-in foul called on Kasese. The state of North Carolina leading the tournament with the most entrants. 5 schools from North Carolina in the field to start.
Well, you've got North Carolina State, who won today. Wake Forest, who won yesterday. North Carolina and Duke play here, so you can have 4 of them that are right in the center of the state, all ACC schools. And Charlotte, who lost today to one of those in-state schools, North Carolina State.
How about how many schools from Indiana made the field?
How about a blowout this year? None. That's what I said. 0. Can you believe that?
May. Back to Manuel. Felton. And Scott says enough of this. Let's move it to the other end. 44-20 North Carolina.
Boy, Marshall's having some problems getting any room whatsoever. Casasi, who wants that shot.
And there's why. Casasi has hit a couple from downtown. Rod Williams and May. That one just rolls off the rim. He'll shoot 2 more.
May, an excellent finisher on the inside. We keep talking about those hands of his. Makes the catch, gets body contact, and still puts it up.
You look at teams in the opening round and the shortest distance to travel to a site. UConn in action right now and handily in front of Central Florida. 48 miles, that's all, to Worcester. And Oklahoma State to Oklahoma City. They've already advanced to the second round today. 63-50 win for Oklahoma State over Southeastern Louisiana.
Cincinnati a winner, close by. Illinois, of course, has that ultimate road trip that they can make. Go back to where they're undefeated, the United Center in Chicago.
Actually, is going to be up at the Horizon Arena, but still Chicago.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they've got Indianapolis. They got Chicago. The next time that team, Billy, has to get on a plane is when they go to Washington to see the president.
Wow, talk about advancing somebody through the brackets.
I used that line on somebody yesterday. Got to think about it. They don't make another trip on a plane unless that's the case. McCloskey has picked up his 3rd, so they brought in David Ritzma, sophomore from Clarkston, Michigan, number 40 for the Golden Grizzlies. And the freshman Marvin Williams will shoot another.
Now, one of the things that you love about this guy, too, in the big games, when he gets fouled, he goes to that line, and he is an 85% free throw shooter. He's already shown us good shooting technique from the perimeter.
Well, just look at the rotation.
Oh, yeah, it's just perfect. If he was 5'9", he'd be a good, he'd be the kind of guy you want on that foul line, and he has got excellent technique.
He has 12 points, Marvin Williams. 5 minutes to go in the half. Casasi on this time, and there's Williams. No one's going to get that when he's that high. Except Marvin. He kicks it out. McCants not all that anxious to shoot it. It's rather set up a teammate this time. And May ties it up with Marshall. It's going to Oakland on the arrow.
Scott May did not realize all those bodies were down inside when he made that reverse pivot.
Noel comes back in for Carolina. You know, this is the 3rd 1 against a 16 matchup. They had a pair of them yesterday. And really the margins in those games closer than you might think. Illinois won against Fairleigh Dickinson by 12. And Washington, the one in the Albuquerque bracket, by 11 over Montana. So 11 and 12 in the first 2 clashes between a 1 and a 16.
Then we talked about the state of North Carolina off to a good start. I'll tell you, the Pacific Northwest is playing some good basketball.
And Scott, half hook.
Oh, jarred the ball loose from May.
North Carolina ball. Now, did you say Pacific Northwest or did you say Pacific?
I'm saying the Pacific Northwest in general. You know, Washington, Gonzaga, Pacific.
And don't forget about Pacific, because they are, with that win yesterday, they are moving on to the second round. They knocked out Pittsburgh in the first round and will take on Washington in round 2 tomorrow.
I can't fault this Oakland team at all in regard to the way they're coached and the way they're trying to move their feet. It's just too big a team with too much talent.
McCants now. How easy was the form?
And did you see Coach Campy?
He's right there.
He looked at him and said, you know, you've got to be kidding me. You were about 28 feet away.
Billy, there's the 50 you talked about. Ishmael and Scott inside, works the body to free himself. Beautiful. North Carolina got the 50. You said that, well, not that you said, but Coach Campy said. We got to hold him to 50.
Right. But he didn't mean in the first half with 3:42 to go. Walk.
Yep, traveling call on May. North Carolina banging home 7 out of 9 from 3. Coach Campy, his team will give a big-time effort all day long.
Eating good in the neighborhood.
Watch Coach Campy of Oakland working the official, working, looking for a little call. Gets it on the travel. Yep, that's right.
He was an engaging guy out here yesterday in practice.
No question. But I will say, The talent level may be different, but you know these kids and this team, instead of going to break, as Casey hits another three. Their effort all day long, you won't ever question that. They will give it their all.
Casey has really been on a roll. He had a midseason slump, but he came into this game looking to take shots early. And with the one exception, he's hit some good ones.
Melvin Scott puts one up, and he too gets in the scoring column.
That could be a key player, Jim, right there for North Carolina down the stretch. There will be games when they're going to need to go to that bench. Scott has been an outstanding shooter earlier in his career, has slumped a little bit this year, but he certainly has the stroke to get hot.
And Scott able to get it back in the hands of Marshall.
Noel on him. Noel, an excellent defender. Just wouldn't give him any room. Casey again.
And Melvin Scott has it. With 2.5 to go in the first stanza. McCants
from downtown.
Well, we saw him yesterday in practice. He's got one of those shots. The form is so effortless. He was shooting 5 feet inside of midcourt, and it looked like he was shooting a 10-footer.
Well, that's a tough shot.
And it's all air. Remember Darrell Griffith used to be able to do that. Launch shots from way out with little looking effort. The form is so good. And this ball is going to be a backcourt violation.
Well, you notice what happens when Felton's out of the ball game. You know, they kind of lost some of their continuity there.
He's coming back in. Wednesday survivor for one tribe. It's a fight to stay in the game after losing every immunity challenge. They need the next win more than ever. Don't miss a new survivor. It's a special night next Wednesday at 8/7 Central as Survivor moves to Wednesday, clearing the way for the Sweet 16 round next Thursday and Friday here on America's most watched network. Carson snags it, almost got away from him. Felton back on the floor.
He's
got with Manuel.
He's got 7 assists, and what he also does, he goes to that defensive glass and then really pushes the ball up the floor, steps on Marshall.
Raul Marshall called for that violation, but the only Division I player to score 550 points with 50 steals and 40 blocks.
They had 29 again in that game against Alabama A&M. 29, 9 rebounds and 3 assists. Big night to get this team in this first round.
Williams bouncing it in to May. Give the freshman the assist and May the basket.
There they go, over the top of the zone with long-range three-point shots. Bounce passing it inside the zone. Just no answers that Oakland can have for this team. Carson will look to go back out. Ishmael.
He puts up the three. Beauty. Last time we had an angle in this building just like that was Scotty Thurman. Right on the same angle.
Right over Antonio Lang, almost that same spot.
The 94 championship, Billy, and we had the exact same line. You could see when it left his hands, it probably was going down, and it did, and it was the winner.
Yep. As the clock was winding down, that was something. There's a foul by Manuel, not called.
17 seconds to go in the half.
Manuel just too big on that play, but I thought he committed a foul. Ishmael's had a really good first half. You know what?
Fades away, no question. Scott, nice putback. And that will close out the half. With the Tar Heels in full command. 20 more minutes, and then they can start looking at the film on Iowa State, which has already advanced to the Sunday second round here. Greg Gumbel coming up as we continue on the road to the Final Four.
You fast. Be ready with Nationwide. Investments, retirement, insurance.
Nationwide is on your side. We still have live action, and we'll take you there coming right up as we travel the road to the Final Four.
CBS Sports presents Singular at the Half, sponsored by Singular, raising the bar.
Halftime in Oklahoma City and Charlotte. Welcome back to our studios in New York for Singular at the Half. Everyone, game in progress right now in Nashville between New Mexico and Villanova. 34-10 as they approach a minute and a half to play. Who's going to help the Lobos? Let's take you live and join Vern Lundquist and Bill Raftery.
All Villanova with 92 seconds to go. New Mexico has shot 5 for 21 in the first half. 10 points thus far, and they trail by 24. That one is off of Curtis Sumter. But, Bill, you've mentioned throughout this mixture of defenses that Jay Wright, Fred Hill have thrown at New Mexico. It really has gotten them confused.
Well, the big thing in Philly over the years has been the great zone defenses. Harry Litwack comes to mind back in his Temple days. Jack Kraft at Villanova. Rowley did a lot of this stuff. Massimino, that is. He wants to make sure I get his name involved in this successful venture by Villanova.
Well, you see Randy Foy is 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. Danny Granger has 6 of the 10 points. Here's Coyote off the glass. The shooting woes continue. Low points in a half this year for New Mexico, 22. That one is in and out. Granger, the all Mountain West Conference player, comes down with a rebound. But this one has been a debacle for New Mexico.
And Villanova getting any shot they want. Nice drive, draw, and Coyote can't finish, but that's a nice play. A little more of that needed to break down this matchup zone on the perimeter. Put it on the deck, forced into playing that point guard position, and Coyote does that little cheat step, able to take that hit and almost complete.
Dave Coyote's going to go to the line, easily distinguished by the length of his hair. A year ago, had the same style haircut, was playing very well, went for the short look, began to play badly. This year he said it's not coming off.
You can't blame him. The Sampson concept lives on, huh? He reminds me of Zach Morley with the mop.
Yes,
He
does.
Wisconsin player. I know you did their games this year. Might be a little tougher inside than Zach.
Junior from San Jose. You will hear from Zach now.
Yeah.
He'll be on the phone. What, are you calling me a wimp?
No, I didn't mean that. I mean, he's got a little more of a perimeter game.
Okay. 34-11.
With my arms, I don't call anybody a wimp. Boy, as solid as you could expect, huh, as a coach.
If you're Richie McKay, the New Mexico coach, can you have ever imagined a first half in which you would have 11 points?
Not at all. Look,
here's Nardi. Not there. Tracked down by Kyle Lowry at the buzzer. That's the end of the first half with our score 34-11. We'll send you to Greg Gumbel in New York after these messages and this word from your local station.
35-26. And the winner of this game takes on Oklahoma State in Charlotte. Oakland and the Tar Heels. Seth?
A lot of points being scored in Charlotte. Greg, Rashawn McCants showing the nice stroke from the outside. North Carolina shooting 73% in the first half, and it helps when you make nice places like this. Raymond Felton, the nice save back to Jack Emanuel for the layup, and North Carolina really sharing the basketball nicely. Sean May going to feed it to Jawad Williams inside for the layup. The Tar Heels cruising in Charlotte. Looks like they're headed for a second-round matchup with Iowa State.
If something truly drastic doesn't happen, they'll meet Iowa State in the next round. 2 waves of games coming your way later this evening in prime time. Our first round of games, Syracuse and Vermont. Louisville takes on Lafayette, and top seed Duke is in action against Delaware State. Also this evening, Old Dominion meeting up with Michigan State, and Kansas, the number 3 seed, taking on Bucknell. Those are our games still to come this evening here on CBS. Thank you for joining us here on Singular at the Half. Back to the second half of your game after this.
CBS Sports presents Singular at the Half, sponsored by Singular, raising the bar.
What is greater?
It's the little things that mean an awful lot.
A tradition unlike any other, the Masters on CBS.
Sean May has 14. Carolina shoots 73% in the first half.
What you waiting for? Step your game up. Go, come on in the dust. Step your game up. Drop it to the floor and just step your game up. You what you finna step your game up.
Bye. See you tonight.
Love you.
Love you too.
$2.99 due at signing.
We got the Laredo we wanted. Life is good.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the Men's Basketball Championship is sponsored by Capital One, Coca-Cola, UPS, and by Pontiac.
All right, about to begin the second half here in Charlotte with the Tar Heels up 26. These numbers mind-blowing. Look at the 3 point 8 of 11.
Jim, the biggest stat to me in this half is that North Carolina has 19 assists and they have 22 field goals. That means they're really moving the ball and they're being extremely efficient.
And May leads them with 14. Marvin Williams has 12 and McCants 11. Coach Campy came out a little early before the team, Billy.
Well, he really did. Here he is sitting by himself over here. Left the club in the locker room. I had a coach do that to me once we were in college, our team, and Bones McKinney. We were playing so poorly over at Duke one night. We're getting beat by about 30, and he never did come to the locker room. He just, we don't know where he disappeared to. But Coach Campy can be proud of the way his guys executed, Jim. I thought the effort was there. I thought the technique was there. They're just up against superior athletes.
And you know that effort will be there and the rest of the way as the starters are back on the floor for each side.
Ishmael, the last man out on the floor, but he was not the last man in that first half. I thought he played extremely well.
Dukes reaches in, knocks it out. Carolina ball.
There's Scott. I think it's really interesting, Jim. He's number 52, and he said he always wanted that number because his favorite player played for a team called North Carolina, and his name was James Worthy. That's unusual, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, that would go way back, though, his Carolina days.
That's right.
You know,
I haven't seen a guy go back like that.
Talk about 23 years ago when James Worthy and the Tar Heels won the championship out of New Orleans.
James grew up not far from here in Gastonia, North Carolina, and was an incredible player for the University of North Carolina.
McCloskey.
Nice move.
Here he is, Scott, working on May, and he'll go to the line. You know, I mentioned this was Carolina's 10th time as a #1 seed. That's most in the tournament since they began the seeding process. Duke with 9. And we'll see Duke on this floor tonight against Delaware State.
And you know what we will see? You start talking about historical perspectives anytime you get the North Carolinas and the Dukes and the Kentuckys and the Kansases, and you see some of these records. Tonight, Mike Krzyzewski, with 64 NCAA tournament wins, has an opportunity to get right there with Dean Smith.
Match him.
And match him.
65 for Dean.
Right.
Coach K going for that number tonight against Delaware State. Scott hits them both.
Oh, a little trapping now. Catches McCants off guard, but.
And Manuel picks up the loose ball. He does that so often, too. Manuel in the right place.
A perfect role player for a team that has so many offensive weapons. The one thing he will not do, however, is when the ball is rotated, he's not going to take that jump shot. He takes that one.
Yeah, right on cue, Billy.
He's not. That's not what he's going to do. And with the score where it is right now, that might have been the reason he did. Oh, McCants throws it away.
Speaking of Worthy, that looked a little bit like the play in that game. Threw it to the wrong man. And here we go, McCloskey.
Nice job by the freshman.
Come out with the first 4 of the second half to the Oakland Golden Grizzlies.
And North Carolina almost threw that ball away. Manuel didn't realize it was even coming. Good fake.
And Manuel gets that one to drop.
Very difficult here for Roy Williams to have his team to stay focused with this kind of lead, and not only with the lead, but also with them realizing that they are a far superior team.
Ball kick, new 35 for Oakland.
I would imagine that Roy Williams is thinking, let me get this first team out here for about 4 or 5 minutes, build on this mark, and then start really rotating guys that are on this bench. Because he can go into his 13th and 14th guy and be pretty solid.
That's Marshall.
He had many looks like that today.
Marshall was in a long shooting slump for a large part of the season, broke out of it this last month as the Grizzlies caught fire.
You can see McCants trying to make plays, Jim, that are not there. And it looks like Roy Williams is already going to go with a full 5 to take this 5 out of there.
Yeah, he's going to bring in Melvin Scott, Rayshawn Terry, Marvin Williams, David Noel, and Quentin Thomas.
He did that in the ACC tournament when his team was not playing up to snuff. But in fairness to this first group,
great pass. It's McCloskey from Ishmael.
And he may call a timeout to get that 5-some in here.
Jawad Williams, they surround him. And they almost take it away from Felton.
I tell you, Ishmael's got some quick hands and an excellent first half.
McCants, that's a 3.
You work so hard, and then a man steps outside of the zone and just drops it in.
How does McCants look to you in terms of physical condition?
I think, you know, it's amazing. It looks like he's got his weight back and his strength back. Good block by Williams.
Oakland ball.
No, I would say, I don't know how his stamina is, but as far as his weight and his body, I think he looks right up to snuff.
Got a full line change coming in for Carolina. Starters will sit. That's the way they used to do it in the old days.
Oh, yeah, the big blue team. That was Dean Smith's way to getting that group of players from 10 to 15 out there on the floor. And they were quality players. That was back in the days when you had the much bigger scholarship allotment.
It's Marshall.
Well, he's had one
for 8, Billy.
Thomas pushing the ball.
Kick it back out to Terry.
Terry getting more minutes of late and is starting to play some pretty solid basketball.
This 5 would like to come out and re-energize the heels. Rashawn Terry with the 3. There he is.
Terry, about 6'9", can step outside. His body is developing. And he could be a guy that could see some real playing time in North Carolina the next couple of years.
He was their big recruit a year ago in Roy's first season. The best freshman.
Nice job.
And it's going Carolina's way. They just keep popping the 3s.
Watch that, watch that, watch that. I got him, I see him, I see him. Whoa! Give me the ball, Pops. Come get it. I think that's challenge. Are you serious? I won't even put my bag down. Oh, come on, man. Don't let that man shoot you. I got nothing. You don't got nothing. Your mouth looks dry. Have a Coke.
You face something. Daddy hung on you. You know what that is? That's the room time, son. Legend.
Broadband, you're ready to go. Visit Vonage.com or call 1-800-928-4VON. Now available at Best Buy, Circuit City, and Buy.com.
Yeah, I'd like to redeem my credit card miles to the finals in St. Louis.
He shoots. Nothing but no.
Go from no to no hassle with Capital One no hassle rewards. Fly any airline with no blackout dates.
What's in your wallet?
One car has factory-installed keyless remote start, and it's not a Honda Accord. Only one car has the first and largest 4-panel panoramic roof available, and it's not a Toyota Camry. And it's not a Nissan Altima 2.5 that has the most powerful engine. It's the first ever Pontiac G6. With action, anything is possible.
Yeah, I'd like to redeem my credit card miles to the finals in St. Louis.
No!
Go from no to no hassle with Capital One No Hassle Rewards. Fly any airline with no blackout dates.
What's in your wallet?
It's Dave, it's Greg, late night so funny. It's Dave, it's Greg, so very funny. Late night done right on CBS.
The Survivor tribes are locked and loaded.
We just need to win now, because we really can't afford to lose anybody else.
Don't miss an unforgettable showdown. New Survivor, special night, CBS Wednesday.
Oakland University and Coach Greg Kampe. We've enjoyed watching his action today, and his team.
And yesterday, Jim. He was
in practice.
A lot of fun watching him work with his team yesterday.
One of the 50 sexiest coaches, someone says here.
That might be his wife phoning it in.
Yes, married, father of 3.
His wife, quite an executive, so she has the right to phone in anything she wants to.
His wife, Sue.
Nice step in.
That's Williams. Marvin Williams.
Well, he showed us the dunk on the move, outside jump shots, drop steps down low. ACC's Rookie of the Year.
Got the lead up to the biggest mark now, 30.
Well, I think Roy Williams doing the right thing here. Going to the bench, letting those regulars sit down because they had really nothing more to prove. It's hard to keep that intensity level up when you know you're a far superior team. Ishmael on the drive.
Better hurry up here with 4 on the shot clock. Thomas all over him. Carolina on a break. Got Terry on the left wing.
Oh, boy. Jim, Terry is now, I'm looking at him compared to when he came to North Carolina. You can tell this young man's working on the weights. He's starting to put together quite a body. That's a good finish. He did not have that strength a year ago to be able to finish on this play. Young man from not far from here, Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Ball tipped out to Scott. Lobs it back inside, and Marvin Williams will go to the line this time for a 3-point try.
Well, that's not a bad drop step either. Watch this footwork. No walk on it. Terrific job on his part. And another young man that can finish, and he's got the strength around the basket to put it away. Jim, you mentioned that incredible effort. Raymond Felton missing the foul shot, tapping the ball, keeping it alive. Williams making that jump shot, and then the foul shot to beat Duke in a tremendous comeback 11-0 run to win that last game of regular season and put them in the regular season championship.
As Duke had them 9 down with a little more than 3 minutes to play. The last 4 meetings between Duke and Carolina have come down to the last possession. And if they both advance in the tournament, they would meet in the national semifinals. Long way to go. Oh, look at that. Stripped away by Marvin Williams.
Oh, good stop. Good stop.
When Thomas tries to bounce it in off the leg of Scott.
Now let's see if he can block this one.
Ishmael. Oh, the trailer wasn't quite prepared. That was Marshall. Up ahead, Kasese helps make the steal.
But see, as a coach, you can let the second unit do this and get a little sloppy. Because he can't be.
Coach can't be.
He has now gone into the relaxed mode.
Yep.
He has seen enough.
Marshall.
You almost want that to drop for the young man who's played so well. There we have the relaxed mode.
Now, Coach Kampe came over. You got to tell the story here, Billy.
All right.
Yesterday at practice, as Carolina's bringing the starting 5 back in.
Oh,
how about this?
I think Roy will let the rest of these guys play the rest of the game and even go deeper on the bench. Go ahead with your story, Jim.
Well, Coach Kampe actually came over and said, hey, I got to tell you, if we win the game, you got to take me to the Masters. Now, I've never met him before.
That's right. And you, being the wonderful guy that you are, said, "Oh, yes, Coach, I certainly do that." Then he said, "Well, Jim, if I go down there...
You're going to take the story in a whole new dimension.
On Monday, could I play in the Masters?" And you said, "Well, Coach, I certainly think I could accommodate you."
No way.
And then the next thing...
Hold on, can I tell
if I win 2 games, can I eat at the dinner of the where the winners have that famous dinner? You said, "I believe I could accommodate." And at that point, I had to interrupt you.
No.
I said, "Coach, you're not going to win this game. Jim is just playing along with a role here."
You took a good story.
Oh, no. Come on.
Try to advance it.
You try to use that in Masters.
You should be writing screenplays.
No.
The truth is, folks, Billy said, "I'll tell you what, Coach, if you win this game and you win on Sunday as well, I'll get you a membership to Augusta."
Yeah, like I got a lot of chances.
Like I know I won't ever see you there again. Here's McCants. Put-back manual.
Now, let's see how long Roy Williams leaves these starters out here. All he wants to do is show me some intensity, and then I'll bring you back to this bench again. But I want to see some intensity.
And that's why they're back out here.
Yeah.
You didn't think you'd see him again. But
no, I really didn't.
And that makes sense to you now.
There's the trap.
Casey steps back for the 3.
Casey had a pretty good first half. He's not shy at all. There's a foul.
Wide Williams whistled for that one. Don't miss a minute of March Madness. Get live video to all games outside of your viewing area. Watch live team press conferences and access archives of games you missed. You can get it only at NCAAsports.com or CSTV.com.
Jim, I will say something about the Masters that I do. I get a kick out of sitting beside you because you'll go from here to there. But one of the things that's amazing, all the coaches come over to ask you, can they get a ticket to the Masters? And all the guys that play in the Masters come over and ask, can I get a ticket for the NCAA tournament? We've got something backwards there, you know?
It's really true. Everybody wants what the other guy has. Well, those golfers, they follow this very avidly. Skip it over. Felton. Put back manual.
Just too many weapons.
Again, always seems to have that knack for being in the right place.
Well, and you know what, Jim? He's 6'7". So, you know, you're looking at a guard that's 6'7". How do you match up? I mean, he's playing Marshall right now. He can play any kind of defensive positions that you need. And here comes Felton full speed.
Scott had to take that shot trying to avoid a charge call, and McCants finger roll tipped up, and May gets the basket. I'll tell you, May, he's going to have an interesting matchup on Sunday against Holman of Iowa State, who had a monster game in the first one here today as Iowa State advanced over Minnesota. That's Scott putting it up and in.
Nice job by Scott.
Holman had 7 blocks and a double-double, points and rebounds. An interesting matchup. Ed Scott makes the steal.
That's an outstanding play by Scott because it was pretty well set up by Williams to May, who normally, when he gets a man on his hip, holds his ground. Scott's strong. You know, he's got that lower body, good set of legs on him.
Started his career, as I mentioned in the first half, as an Iowa Hawkeye. Here he is, pulling it down, keeping the possession for the Golden Grizzlies. Transferred after a year out to Oakland.
Played for Steve Alford there at Iowa.
Tough shot for Carson. And that's Felton. Can't chase it down. That'll be a backcourt violation. So a break here with 10:55 to go. Tar Heels 35 in front.
My Sherpa, my equipment, my base camp, my trail, my Everest, and my favorite part, the descent. My life takes me to the edge. My American Express card always goes with me.
I have this friend. He likes to talk about how his car gets like 300 miles to the gallon. Of course, he likes to leave out how he always gets passed by guys on mopeds. What good is gas mileage without any horsepower? That's why I bought a Saturn.
140 horsepower and 32 miles per gallon highway. The 2005 Saturn Island. Lease a new 2005 Saturn Ion 1 for $139 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for details.
Hi, we switched to Fair and Flexible at Sprint because our old wireless company charges huge fees for going over our minutes on our plan. So if Mom called, you think, is it worth it? Is a 20-minute conversation about what her cat did today worth it? I mean, it's a cat.
Which is why you switched.
Yes.
No more huge overages. Sprint automatically adds anytime minutes as you need them. Every 100 minutes costs just $5. Others charge $35 or more. Sprint PCS. Now that's better.
We have questions about taste loss, but we're afraid to ask.
Don't be afraid. There are no stupid questions when it comes to taste loss.
Can you get taste loss from a foosball table?
I stand corrected. That is a stupid question. Get the facts at PreventTasteLoss.com. Protect yourself from taste loss with a great-tasting, less filling Miller Lite. Miller. Good call.
If your last encounter with fruit was on a Hawaiian shirt, you'll want to try this. Introducing the Fresh Fruit Bowl and Cup. Honeydew, cantaloupe, pineapple, and grapes with a low-fat yogurt dip. Only at Wendy's. It's better here.
Enterprise rent-a-car for our trip?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Even airports.
See? Airports, too.
Hello, welcome to Enterprise. Let me help you with that. Wow, the friendly service of Enterprise is everywhere.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Well, there you see the game summary. Billy, you mentioned your old coach, Bones McKinney, a little bit earlier. I want to take a moment just to acknowledge my partner here. This is the first year the ACC tournament was contested without the great Marvin Skeeter Francis, your old SID at Wake. And, man, we always saw one of the great ones, one of the great curators of ACC history. He passed since last year's tournament, and they created the Skeeter Francis Contributions to Broadcasting Award, the ACC tournament. As you see, Scott put up the shot and make it. Billy Packer, rightfully so, the winner of that distinguished award last week in Washington at the ACC. I know it meant a lot to you as close as you were with the great man.
It really did. You know, Skeeter is one of those guys, had a lot of tough responsibilities, decisions that had to be made. I don't know a person that ever was associated with that man that didn't like him as a person and admire the work that he did.
You know, Billy, you and that great team of yours went to the Final Four in 1962. Lenny Chappell, Billy Packer backcourt. And since Wake, we've mentioned this because Wake's a 2 seed, this could be the year they break out of it. But since 62, we're going to count Florida State, even though they weren't in the ACC at that time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 programs have been to the Final Four since Wake went in 62 to Louisville and Freedom Hall that year, for a total of 36 appearances in the Final Four since Wake was last there. Is this the breakout year?
Well, you know, you've got 3 teams that throughout the course of this year all look like they were the kind of teams that could be Final Four bound, and they're all still alive. We'll see one more here this afternoon in Duke, or this evening.
Wake yesterday with a challenge for quite a while by Chattanooga, and then they really broke out of the doldrums and put up a big second half performance to move on in that bracket, take on West Virginia in the next round tomorrow. Great Marshall.
Great drive by Marshall. Want to start seeing some things fall for this team.
McCants.
Will Roy Williams go, what, to the next break before he takes these guys out?
It's got to be close.
Yeah, probably the next TV break. Go back with that other 5.
Marshall stuck, but got it out to Scott. These two have developed quite a bond in the last month. Speaking of those seniors.
That technique you saw there defensively by North Carolina, developed by Dean Smith, where he used that baseline as an extra defender, brought over weak side help. You'd think you're open driving baseline, and there would be a man waiting on you.
Raul Marshall with the hoop. 9 minutes left. Marvin Williams. And it's Marshall. Still got the spring in the legs here. Has gone the distance.
He was the MVP of their postseason tournament. Played, as he said, extremely well in those 3 games, 25, 17, and 18, 3 nights in a row.
This kid could shoot. Casey, he could be a zone buster for just about anybody.
Oh, absolutely. And he came into this game putting it up right away.
Sunday, a whole new cold case. A housewife is murdered. 23 years ago, a jury convicted her husband. Now, new evidence will reveal some unusual suspects. That will be coming your way on Cold Case Sunday at 8/7 Central.
Jimmy mentioned Kasese, his biggest event of the game of the year. He had 5 of 9 3-point shots against the team we had a few years ago. IU, you remember the team from IU-PUI?
Absolutely.
The team that was so much fun from Indianapolis.
2 years ago, they were the
what a pass.
Mid-Continent representative. That's Williams, and that's a charge. Now down at the end of the Carolina bench, the Byron Sanders and C.J. Hookers, Charlie Everett, who's from here in Charlotte, Wes Miller, another Charlotte kid. They may see some action and be able to put their names in the books, seeing action in NCAA tournament.
A couple of those guys started the last time, Jim, you and I broadcast a North Carolina game, which was against Duke. They started on senior night.
Then they came in there, played the first couple of minutes of the game at the Dean Dome at the Smith Center.
And a lot on the line in those first couple of minutes. Good steal.
And Noel touched it last. It'll be Oakland ball when we come back. Roy Williams and his team clicking today here in Charlotte.
The entirely new 300 horsepower GS. The next phenomenon from Lexus.
I want to give you a job.
Can you protect the president?
Only one way to find out.
XXX, State of the Union, rated PG-13, in theaters everywhere, April 29th.
Why do we work? Why do we get up every day and leave the people we love? At the Principal Financial Group, we know you work for more than just a paycheck. For 120 years, the Principal has helped people keep more of the money they make and do more with the money they save. You work hard. We make work hard for you. The Principal Financial Group. We understand what you're working for.
You really do shocks and struts too?
Yes.
Oil changes?
Yes.
Tire rotation?
Yes.
Batteries?
Yes.
Back rubs?
Yes.
The Midas Touch maintenance package for just $29.95. We'll change your oil, rotate your tires, and do a courtesy check, including brakes, battery, filters, and more. Trust the Midas Touch.
You give me fever.
Applebee's Barbecue Fever. From our sweet baby backs to our new grilled barbecue shrimp.
Fever. Till you sizzle. What a lovely way to burn.
Eating good in the neighborhood.
Some families are good at entertaining themselves. For the rest of us, there's Radio Shack, where you can get great deals on wireless phones. Now buy any Verizon wireless phone and get up to 3 Samsung color screen phones free with 2-year agreement on each. Plus, get this replica race hood free by mail. Yes, Radio Shack has everything to make your road trip more fun. Unless you like yodeling. Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
All right, we're back for the final 7:46 here in first round action in Charlotte. Iowa State already advancing today and will play North Carolina this Sunday. Scott fade away, bangs it home, beauty. Courtney Scott.
And Jim, I don't know why Roy Williams still has primarily this first unit still on the floor.
Well, he's got two starters. He's got May and Felton.
They're still out there. And you can say that Williams is just like a starter. This man here that just flushed that ball.
They flushed a few today.
Yep.
And knocked down threes at an incredible percentage. May has 17, McCants 16, but Williams leads.
Oh, nice fake by Scott.
Marshall and Felton got him on the hand. Let's check the CBS Sportsline stat of the game. Look at this, Carolina sharing the wealth. 9 players have at least an assist, at least one. 9 have a rebound stat. 8 have scored, and you can get complete game stats at CBSSportsline.com.
Jim, just getting here, Oakland obviously accomplished something they never had done in their school's history before. Up to this point, you'd have to say the biggest moment in their basketball life, other than going into Division I, was that victory over Michigan.
About 4 years ago, 5 years ago, they beat the University of Michigan.
And I didn't realize this. I remember that incident. As Casey, does he score again? No, I remember that incident, but I did not realize in the next game that they lost to Ferris State.
Yeah, after beating Michigan, Ferris State beat them in the next one. That's a foul on Marshall. This is a program that when it went Division I back in '98, they decided to change their nickname. They'd been known as the Pioneers. They ran a little contest, and it came out Golden Grizzlies. May at the line.
And you know, this is the 4th straight year now in this NCAA tournament that a team with a losing record has qualified. Now, I'm going to throw something out at you, Jim. Do you think the tournament committee should have the right in these leagues that are only going to get one bid, that they can pick either the regular season champion or the tournament champion if the tournament champion has a losing record? What do you think about that?
I like it just the way it is. I like these kids right here. Again, they were 7 and 18. They won their last 2 regular season games, won 3 in the tournament. You got to give everybody the hope that they can still play in the big dance. What do you think?
But how about that team that goes 14-1 or whatever, 15-1, works, and then one night after working 3.5 months to prove you're the best team in the conference, you lose that one game
to a team with a losing record? If you're going to lose to a team with a losing record, then you shouldn't be in the NCAAs anyway.
All right, that's why this is a neat debate for the committee in the future, I think. Do they want to get the best 64 teams that they can?
Now that rebound pulled down by Pierre Dukes,
who has been very quiet today. Dukes, as starter, has been a no factor.
I'll tell you one of the best 64 teams that did not get a bid but is actually competing in this tournament.
One of the best 64 teams
that did not get a bid extended to them to be in the field, but they're actually playing in the NCAAs. The second team at Carolina.
Oh, okay. That's a reach. That's a reach.
I mean, look at this bunch. I'm talking Marvin Williams
Let me
is
ask
on
you a
that
question.
team.
Where was North Carolina on Sunday at the ACC tournament championships if they have that kind of person?
They didn't have McCants back all the way. Jawad had the hip flexor suffered in the Clemson game in the tournament, and Jack Emanuel had that sprained left arch where he couldn't stay with Will Bynum, who lit him up with 35.
You know, there's 6:13 to go. If we keep this up, we're going to have a real argument. We've never had a real
First one in 20 years. Yeah. You don't think this second team bunch from Carolina could win an NCAA tournament game?
That's a different question.
Okay,
that's a different question.
All right, Melvin Scott hits the three. I rest my case. No, I get back to your point about losing records. I like it. Keep the hope alive that a team like Oakland, as long as the odds are for them to be able to make it to the NCAAs, be able to then win in the opening round game. I mean, it's great stuff. It's part of that American dream you talk about the NCAAs.
Look at that. Williams goes up for the rebound, then dives for the loose ball. What hustle. Watch him go for this loose ball. Just dives out there after it.
That's one of the reasons maybe you want to put him on the bench right now. Look out cameras, look out elbow. But 5:33 to go, and Marvin Williams has had a spectacular performance with many highlights.
Terry, who played well when he got in there with that second unit. About time for him to get another 5 minutes in there. Maybe coming in for May. Marshall's had a rough day today, but his outstanding play in the tournament got his team there.
Ball knocked around, but Marvin Williams to Noel, who whips it ahead to Thomas. Zips it inside. May. Nope. May again. Yes. Nope. A little too quick. McCluskey comes out with it.
Nice job by McCluskey on the inside. May again, though, showing those hands. He very seldom fails to finish when he's got that ball inside. Scott guarding a taller man right now in a little bit of trouble in the low post.
And Scott uses that body as a weapon and gets 2 more. He has now 19 on the game.
He already has his degree in communications. He's in graduate school as Scott, and he's showing he's a quality young guy, still playing hard here in this ball game, realizing that the outcome of this game was long settled, and now he's getting out on the break.
DASANI gives it to Marshall. Well done on the break.
Good job. And the man that was on the right-hand side of that lane was Scott, getting out there on the break.
Terry is about to come back into the game for Carolina.
Yeah, I think that we'll see Sanders and Carey. Terry coming back into the ball game probably for May and Williams.
Byron Sanders to see some action. Noel, who you forecast in that Duke game, could be the X factor for Carolina in the NCAAs. And 2 more for Marvin Williams.
Well, he's so versatile in the fact he doesn't make mistakes. He's starting to make good decisions offensively, and he always has been a shutdown man defensively. He's on Marshall right now.
Marvin Williams with 20. Talking about Noel being that X factor. Right. You're right. Yep.
His team is extremely deep with talented players.
That's Marshall.
Yep. There's what I was talking about.
Yep. Noel right in his face.
Right there against the guy that was the MVP of the tournament.
Tried to feed it to Noel, but DASANI broke it up. That's Marshall. Which way will this go?
That's going to be foul on Williams.
Basket counts. Foul on Williams and a break in the action. The margin 30.
A rainy day is my chance to be home. Be a fan. Be a kid. Be lazy. Problem is, there are no rainy days. My life is about never settling. That's why my card is American Express.
What we did was the same thing American soldiers have been doing for generations. Soldiers now and soldiers then. There's the same courage, determination, and willingness to serve. What's changed is our equipment, our technology. But the spirit of a soldier, that's never changed. And that's what makes the difference.
Their culture has no concept of time. So how did they know it was time to flee before the tsunami hit? The story Sunday on 60 Minutes.
Catch March Madness.
See if I can bring it in for a landing.
Probably not a good idea. There's no real place to put it.
2.5 Men. CBS Monday after Raymond.
Monday on CBS, a skateboarder is the latest victim on CSI Miami, and the clues to his disappearance are in a video game. It's on CSI Miami, all new Monday night here on CBS. Marshall to the line for Oakland. This has been, even though it's been a one-sided affair, it's been anything but a nightmare of an experience here for the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. And if you talk to the folks from Oakland and say, tell us some of your notable alumni. The name Robert England comes up. You may know him, Billy Packer, as Freddy Krueger, one of your favorite characters. Nightmare on Elm Street as an Oakland grad.
Well, those first few minutes of this game were a nightmare on Elm Street for that man right there. He didn't anticipate the difference in the talent level being quite as much as was expressed by North Carolina in that first 5 or 6 minutes.
Nightmare on Tyvola Street.
Yeah. Good feed.
And that's Hooker. As Carolina, we reset the Carolina lineup. Quentin Thomas still on the floor, along with Rayshon Terry. C.J. Hooker seeing his first action. He was one of the seniors who started there on senior day. You know, and also Wes Miller seeing some action.
The first time that I watched a North Carolina practice a year ago, I actually thought, because Hooker's characteristics, the way he walks, the way he carries himself, his body language and everything, I thought that was McCants. I mean, they resemble each other so much.
Holly comes in for Carolina. Byron Sanders also on the floor, and Charlie Everett, senior from right here in Charlotte. North Carolina playing in this city for the 178th time in school history, and they played some NCAA games here, never lost. They'll be now 6-0 in NCAA tournament games in the Queen City.
Everett, whose brother also played at North Carolina.
Oh, Sanders knocking it down.
Now, Jim, back to what you said earlier. How many teams that are in this tournament do you think Sanders might not start for? You know,
might start for or might not start?
Might start for.
Might start for.
Quite a few.
There'll be a number of teams. And Sanders in his career has seen important minutes. Holly, oh, the crowd was just desperate for it. Let's hope he gets another chance in the final 2 minutes.
And Jim, there we see Dukes out there who really never did much other than he's the guy that probably more than anybody else is the reason that they're here with that three-point shot with 1.3 seconds to go to knock off Oral Roberts. But he has not had much of a day today.
It's okay with you, Billy. We'll go ahead and advance North Carolina in the bracket.
I think that that could have been done probably about an hour and 40 minutes ago.
And you were talking about Dukes is out here. You didn't mean the Duke Blue Devils, who will be out here a little bit later on. You meant Pierre Dukes,
right,
of Oakland. And Scott will shoot one more. His career about to come to a close, but the senior class, along with Raul, Marshall, Ishmael, part of history at this school that's just so young as far as Division I, just in the 8th year, the first to make it to the NCAA field.
Well, a second-team All-Mid-Continent player. Really distinguished himself well out here today, I thought.
That's Miller. 3, and over the top, it'll be Oakland ball. Chevrolet most valuable players of the game. Courtney Scott from Oakland. Check out his numbers, Billy. 21 with 6 rebounds, and Marvin Williams has tied a career high with 20 points for the freshman.
Well, Scott's all-time high in his career, 36 points and 21 rebounds against Saginaw Valley State. Not exactly in North Carolina, but those are big, big numbers. Miller's got a feeling.
Oh, that was beauty. He's on a rotation. And Carolina now ups the total to 96. And they hit that century mark with a minute to go.
I'll tell you, the one he just missed a second or two before had good spin on it, too. It looked like it was going in.
Sounds like you're lobbying for some more playing time down the road in this tournament. Just don't know where those minutes can come from. As Marshall hits the shot, and he'll go to the line. And this Oakland contingent gets to experience this NCAA magic. They had 3 busloads of students who came down for the game from Rochester, Michigan.
This young man was all-conference first team. He's the all-time career block leader, all-time career steals leader. Has really played well. Today he had a rough time.
Sanders, half hook, and there he is still working it, talking about Marshall.
Yep.
North Carolina never trailed in this game, had a biggest lead of 37. The ball comes back out. Derek Coleman's on the floor for Oakland. Let's give his name a mention here in an NCAA tournament game, and 21 seconds remaining. Carolina next up, Iowa State. Quick thumbnail on that game, Billy.
Well, you're going to have that Iowa State zone and pressure. Now, we start talking about what does North Carolina do against that. Felton breaks down pressure well, but what North Carolina will do, and this will be something Iowa State will really have to guard against, they can go ahead and get jump shots off against that press and look forward to taking them. McCants will be very critical in that game.
Some of the fans that came down, the students by the busload, 3 of them, made their way down to experience the NCAAs and had quite a following in the opening round game down in Dayton as well. They're all a part of the tapestry of this tournament. The great North Carolina teams, the schools like Oakland who get to experience it. Our congratulations to Coach Campy and the Oakland Golden Grizzlies for their run through their conference tournament, the Mid-Continent tournament, to make it here. And Carolina looks ready to go.
My lawn is really my pride and